If there's ever an intruder in the school, all of the students have to go on lockdown, meaning they all hide and essentially lock whatever door to the room that they're in. Now, fortunately, I've never had to go through any real lockdown scenarios, but unfortunately, a lot of people have. And today, we're checking out 3 of the scariest ones ever.
Growing up in a tiny community like mine, you hear about all this crazy stuff on the news, these massacres and tragedies day after day, but you think that'll never happen here. A day came that
I was actually the exact same way. Like I said, we used to do a lot of drills, like lockdown drills, to just to know what to do in the off chance that there was an actual lockdown. But even in those drills, I would be the guy to never really take him too seriously. You know, like me and my buddies would be playing rock, paper, scissors, shoot the entire time that we're on lockdown because we knew that it was a drill and never thought that anything would actually happen.
one of us will ever forget. I was in school watching the minutes go by, waiting until I could finally go home. I excused myself from class to go to the bathroom, but I didn't really have to go. I just wanted to look at my phone for a few minutes without the risk of it getting confiscated. Luckily, the girls' room was completely empty. I took the stall, second from the end. While scrolling through Snapchat, I tapped through a bunch of people's stories, but one person had quite a few more posts than anybody else. They were absent that day, and whenever they stayed home from school, which was quite often, they always did a bunch of schizo posting. Growing up, their name was Jessie, until they came out as transgender and started going by the name Jennifer. I changed their name on Snapchat, but otherwise, I didn't really care. I wasn't friends with them, just acquaintances because everybody knew everybody. What matters is, completely regardless of their gender, Jennifer was a nutcase.
I have heard in a lot of like these school shooting incidents that the person who ends up doing the school shooting will like literally post about it, just like what's happening here. And I think a lot of times they don't really get taken too seriously, or like maybe they'll get sent to like the detention center like at their school where they're just like, oh, stop doing that. When in reality, if you're someone who's posting about doing something like this, you should immediately be expelled and probably sent to like some sort of, maybe not necessarily an insane asylum, but like somewhere to get help, somewhere where there's therapy. And I don't know, I think if you keep letting that person go to your school, that is dishonorable and harmful to the rest of the children there.
They were crazy before transitioning, and they were just as unpopular afterwards. After being on my phone for a few minutes, I decided to finish up before my teacher got suspicious. Just as I was starting to finally someone walked into the bathroom. I couldn't tell if they were a teacher or a student. They were being oddly quiet. It sounded like they went into a stall, but I didn't hear it close or anything like that. Of course, I had no reason to be overly cautious, so I wrapped up and exited the stall. Right as I walked out of it, a loud sound started reverberating through the bathroom.
Yeah, this is getting weird, bro.
Hissing. Then I took another couple steps.
Well, I don't watch these videos before I react to them, obviously. That's why they're reactions. Like, they're authentic. This one's pretty weird, I'll be honest. Like, this is getting a little strange.
Passed by a stall I thought was empty, but even though the door was open, it was absolutely occupied. I saw none other than Jennifer. While standing up in full view, it took everything I had to not stop and stare in shock. I forced myself to continue to the sink and wash my hands.
Yo, at that point, I'm not even washing my hands, I'm just out of there. There's many times I don't wash my hands, I'm just gonna say it. If I'm doing a number 1 and it's clean number 1, like, what do I gotta wash my hands for? They're not dirty, nothing.
Had enough time to finish her business at the toilet and started washing her hands in the sink next to mine. That's when I saw the blood. A shocking amount of it,
my God,
over her. My hands froze under the tap. It didn't take long for Jennifer to catch me staring either. She then looked directly in my eye, a sickening smirk on her face. I couldn't tell what was going through her head. When Jennifer turned off the faucet, she also reached over to shut off my sink as well. This action brought her close to my face, close enough for me to smell the pungent sweat in her pits. That and the distinct metallic stench of blood.
I would like throw up.
And she hadn't gotten all of it off yet. When she whispered to me, I knew there was no right answer. Every word was sealing my fate. What are you staring at, princess?
Nothing. I don't have a problem with you being in here, I swear.
Really?
Okay, but I have a problem with there being blood all over you. What's that about? First of all, are you okay? Are you injured? Is there, should I report it? Or is that someone else's blood? Either way, something is very wrong here. Pardon my stare, but what do you want me to do?
Don't tell me you're not used to the sight of blood.
It's not that. I'm not used to people using the bathroom with the door open. That's all.
Did I forget to close it? Man, my bad. I was just practicing my aim. How would you like to help me with target practice?
Yo.
A chill ran through my whole body. Regardless of—
Bro, this is so weird. It is creepy and it is scary. So it is checking that box, which is what I was hoping that this video would accomplish, but it's also checking other boxes, which I wasn't expecting, which is like just insanely, I'm just really creeped out at the moment. And I apologize if this is not your cup of tea and you're like, bro, what is going on here? Cause I'm in that same boat. We're in this ship together and we're sailing. We're just trying to dodge all of the icebergs as much as we can. I feel like we crashed into a couple already.
Meant I wasn't sticking around to find out. I immediately turned around and ran. I sprinted down the hallway, not looking back until I was at the stairwell. My plan was to just make sure that she didn't follow me back to my class, maybe double back across the second floor. But then I saw her, not running, but just then exiting the bathroom.
Bruh.
She looked at me across the distance with a look on her face I'll never forget. Then she crossed the hall and entered the classroom I came from. A moment later, the shots started. I was no hero. Any chance I might have had to warn people was long gone, and doing so might have gotten me killed anyway. I saw my exit, and I took it. By the time the massacre was over, she had killed 8 people. The first 2 were at her house. The blood I saw her washing from her hands belonged to them. Then, she came to school and killed 6 more before taking the easy way out. Like a coward, she made sure she would never stand trial, never face justice for what she did, if she even had any. All we know is that our town will never be the same, and I can't stop thinking about how close I came to being one of her victims.
Yeah, what's crazy is that, well, I don't know if this is real or not. Like, it says that it's a true story, but there was no like actual names or articles that it brought up. So there's a chance that this story might not have been real. However, I'm sure that there's like dozens and dozens of other examples of stories that are extremely similar to this one. Just really sad to think about, honestly. Like, it's just so crazy to me that any of that happens at all. But if it is true that this person like was posting essentially insane they are, I'm still team like, bro, get them help and get them away from innocent children. If there's someone who is in a school that is threatening other people's lives or just like clearly insane, get them away. Even at the end of the day, let's say this person didn't end up being a school shooter, their actions outside of that, in my opinion, are enough to cause a lot of conflicts and cause like disharmony and just like weird vibes throughout the school that would prevent other students like probably from learning as well as they otherwise would. I don't know, even if they hadn't gone through with this plan, this awful, satanic, disgusting acts that they did, in my opinion, should be way more than enough to get them out of the school. I don't know. I don't even think there should really be much of an argument there. Let's see what the next one is.
This story was inspired by a horrific incident regarding a teenage suspect involved in a mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge. Police say the 18-year-old suspect was Jesse Van Rootseller, who was found dead on the scene, took out 8 people, and then doing the unthinkable to themselves. The suspect had been the subject of a number of police visits in recent years because of mental health issues and used to have a firearms license. It is unclear who owned the firearms used in the attack or what the motive was. 5 students and a teacher were taken out, and at least 25 others were injured at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. 2 others, the suspect's mother and stepbrother, were found dead at a nearby home when the attack began. Van Rootseller was born a biological male, but identified as a female. A 2021 Facebook post from the suspect's mother, Jennifer Strang, described how the teenager was infatuated with firearms.
I was not expecting this to get like real images. Normally when we watch this stuff, it's like stick figures or just basic animation. That just brought like a whole new element to the realism of this stuff, which freaks me out even more. And if you guys are like totally fully creeped out and hate this, I apologize. All right, well, there is more though. So let's see what the next story is.
Lockdown. Please follow lockdown procedures. Go into the nearest room or building.
The cop lockdown.
As a school resource officer, I'm tasked with maintaining order in an active community of nearly 1,000 students. Recently, a case of bullying has become of particular interest. For one reason or another, got a target painted on his back. He's been picked on and humiliated by dozens of different students through various means and over an extended period of time. He's never fought back. They take his kindness for weakness and abuse it. Unfortunately, almost everything I've tried to do to remedy the situation before it went critical ended up in a terrible feedback loop. All the offending students I punished simply fed into an intensified hatred of Ivan. With little other option, I've resorted to just protecting Ivan the best I can. One day, Ivan just snapped. It was quiet that day. It must have been around 1 o'clock. Suddenly, my radio crackled, and a panicked voice shattered the quiet.
Barnes, hurry! Get to building!
Yeah, I mean, I have heard of this before where kids who get picked on and bullied their whole lives eventually just, a switch flicks in their head and they're like, I'm done with this. And then they stand up to their bullies by pew-pewing them, if you will. It's just awful. And I don't want to defend the person who's getting bullied because obviously the answer is never violence. But at the same time, I feel for those people who do get picked on and bullied their entire lives to the point where they feel like there's nothing else to live for. And so they're going to just create havoc and ruin other people's lives.
I tried to turn up my radio and ask them to repeat, but it was too late. The sounds of panic, fleeing, and screaming were pouring in from the hall, and whoever that teacher was, their hands were way too full to get back to me. I couldn't hear the location, but the voice sounded familiar. I decided to make my way to that teacher's classroom on the other side of campus.
Yeah, this is gonna get so sad if this police officer has to pew-pew the kid that he's been defending for so long. That definitely could happen. And they're probably friends at that point, and it's well, you have to, I guess. And I don't know. We'll see. If that happens, that'd be so sad.
As I stepped out of the break room, I entered the hallway in the last moments of the scramble for cover. Everyone was following the drills, but under the ensuing radio silence, I couldn't get any more information. Quickly, I hustled across the school, my weapon already drawn. Moment by moment, I cleared section after section. I knew reinforcements would be on their way, but they would be waiting on my call to enter the building. There was a chance that going in too brashly would lead to more panic and further casualties. It was up to me, but it was so quiet. My ears were ringing, my heart pounding in my head. It had been years since I felt the pressure this on. But why? For all I knew, this was a false alarm. Something in my gut said otherwise, ripping me right out of my head. I rounded a corner and saw it. There was a student at the far end of the hall. They had a knife in their hand.
Oh
they
my
were covered
God.
in blood, and they were facing me, alone, as if they heard me coming. Instantly, my arms rose up to point my gun downrange at the target. My finger touched the trigger, but then I stopped. I lowered my gun. It was Ivan. The look on his face was haunting. The only person he had hurt so far was himself. His forearms were gashed right down the middle.
Oh my God.
This alarmed Ivan, prompting him to raise the knife at me and start spewing his threats.
Stay away from me! I'll kill you too!
Take it easy, Ivan. It's just me. We're friends, remember? I'm not gonna hurt you.
Don't call me
Oh
that!
my God,
You're not
so
my friend! You don't
sad.
give a about me!
Come on, Ivan. You know that's not true. I've always looked out for you. I'm sorry about whatever happened.
Then prove it! Drop your gun! Do it now!
All right, I'm dropping my gun. After closing in about 20...
I would not drop my gun, bro. There's no way I would drop my gun. I mean, I know that this is an adult going up against a kid, but if someone has a knife, do not get close to them, bro. That's not a good idea. This is so sad, dude. I was not expecting this to be so sad. This is so sad.
momentarily to take a knee and place my gun on the ground. Then I kept going. I could see from this distance that Ivan was shaking. You see, I did it. Now it's your turn. Put down the knife, Ivan.
Now!
We can work this out, Ivan, but only if we're both unarmed, okay?
You're lying! You just want to put me in prison!
You won't go to jail, not unless you hurt someone. We can take you to some place to get help.
I don't want their help!
In a split second, one of my worst fears became reality.
I don't wanna- dude, I
Ivan
can't-
put the blade
Nah,
to his
bro.
throat.
Oh my
with
God,
nobody else
no.
around to threaten.
Bro.
He thought this was his only leverage.
No.
But I still took a chance. I was so close. As soon as I saw him hesitate, I pushed forward.
Stay back! I'll do it! This is on you!
I know you don't want to do that, Ivan. Just give me the knife.
Stay away!
Ivan, please! Out of nowhere, the knife came back toward me. Time froze, and the next moment I remember, I had Ivan's wrist in my hand, nearly crushing it, holding back the knife just inches from my...
And the next thing I remember was my kung fu. And I grabbed him and by the arm, and then I roundhouse kicked him in the head. I don't know why I said that. Let's continue.
neck. Had he been any stronger, had I been any slower, a very different sight might have been my last. However, in that moment, Ivan knew he had no other path forward but to comply. With my free hand, I wrenched the knife from his grasp. He offered no resistance to it. His body went limp, barely standing. I tossed the knife behind my back and put my arm around under his shoulders to support him before he fell. The blood loss, the adrenaline, the extreme emotions, all of it took a toll on him. With Ivan finally restrained,
Oh, he handcuffed him. Oh, he needs to go to the hospital, bro. You disarmed him, and he's a child, and he's bleeding out. Boy, I don't feel like we gotta handcuff the kid at this point. No, this is the step where you just pick him up and you run with him, take him to your car, drive him to the hospital, or call the ambulance. Call the ambulance!
Baker Act, giving him a bit of grace from criminal charges. He's been out of school for a while now, recovering in a mental health facility I won't disclose.
Okay.
I hope he's doing better now, because I'll never forget the moment he almost threw his life away.
See, I feel for that kid, but I'm also on team he should not go back to that school. If he ever does go back to public school, first of all, it shouldn't be for a while. He should get his help, make sure he's good to go, and put him in a different school. Because he's gonna get bullied and shunned or whatever it may be way more if he goes back to that school. He should never be allowed back to that school, no question.
Rockville High School was...
I was gonna say, is he gonna start pulling up like pictures of this kid? And it seems like he is about to. That looks like a nice school, dude. Holy cow.
briefly locked down and a classroom was evacuated, as a school resource officer convinced a student to turn over the small pocket knife he had. School staff alerted the school resource officer at 1:35 p.m., and staff members were able to quickly evacuate the other students from the classroom. According to police, the student had some cuts on his arms, and the school resource officer convinced him to turn over the knife peacefully after about 30 minutes. The
30
school
minutes?
lockdown lasted for around 10
30 minutes?
An ambulance brought the student to a local hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. Police are investigating, and no charges have been filed at this time.
That's crazy. These are like genuinely probably the craziest lockdown stories that we've watched. We've watched a lot of these at this point, but these ones are the craziest because of how real they are. Like some of the other ones we've watched, but like there wasn't data afterwards going over like the actual incident. This is just giving like a whole extra level of realism by going over the incident for exactly what the reports were afterwards. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. And there's a whole bunch of these, and there's more that we're gonna keep watching. But if you guys want me to do more of these even after this video, let me know, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. What else we got? Here we go. Lockdown story number 3.
This is an emergency alert. Please follow
The
lockdown
weird
procedures.
kid incident,
Go into the nearest
awesome.
room
See,
or
that's
building.
bullying, bro. Don't bully him. Don't
I
call him
don't
a
have a
weird
lot
kid.
of friends at school. One of the few friends I have, this kid named Zach. He's a full-blown incel.
This guy looks like Eddie from Stranger Things, by the way.
Kids either bully him or go out of their way to avoid him. Unlike me, he's just too weird and creepy to fade into the background. He basically came up to me and decided we were going to be friends on the first day of freshman year. And ever since then, I've just had to tolerate him. I always joke with my friends online that I only keep him around because if I'm his friend, he might warn me not to come to school the next day in case the bullying finally makes him snap. One day, that joke became a reality. There was no warning, no signs of declining mental state. I was probably the first person at school to get any indication that Zach was up to something. It started out like any other day. I had just got off the bus, and I was waiting to get breakfast in the cafeteria, when Zach suddenly pulled me out of the line to tell me something. He was wearing the same clothes he always did, his worn-out backpack clinched all the way up to his shoulders, but something else was there too. He had a new, different bag slung under his arm. It was black and sturdy, but too small to fit a laptop or even a regular-sized notebook. I didn't have to bring it up either, because it was all he wanted to talk about.
Dude, you're gonna make me miss breakfast. What do you want?
Shh, just be quiet and take this. I need you to keep it a secret for me.
Your brand new bag? Wait, did you steal it?
No, it's mine. I just have to get rid of it for a bit.
Well, what's in it? It's a camera, a really expensive one. So promise me you won't open it. And you brought it to school, why?
Look, I was just trying to take pictures of some girls for, but then a couple of guys saw me and now they want to smash my camera and kick my ass.
Ha! Sounds like you deserve it, you creep.
Shh! I gotta run. Take this and don't look in it.
As fast as he appeared, Zach shoved the bags into his hands and bolted. I looked around for that group of angry guys.
You gotta look in the bag, right? There's no way you're not looking in the bag. I mean, even if it is a camera, like if someone's gonna make that big of a deal about what's in the bag and to not even open it at all, you gotta open it. There's no way. There's no way.
But I didn't see anyone except the people in line who had witnessed our entire interaction. Not sure what else to do. I put the bag over my shoulder and went to the back of the line. As I waited, I started to feel how heavy it was from the strain on my shoulder. I got breakfast, then went to class, trying to ignore the extra weight I was carrying. Minute after minute.
How heavy could it?
Until I finally couldn't resist any longer. In the middle of class, I slowly and quietly opened the zipper by a few inches, then looked inside. My worst nightmare came true right in front of my eyes. There was a gun in the bag. Immediately, my skin felt like it was on fire, and I started sweating profusely. I was afraid if I bumped the bag the wrong way, the thing inside might randomly go off. After 20 more agonizing minutes, that class period ended, and I had my chance. On the way to my next class, I walked by a bush and placed the bag behind it as discreetly as I could.
I mean, that's not the worst option possible, but it's not even close to the best option possible. How is he not just giving it to like the principal or like the security officer or the teacher? The only thing is, like, I guess he could be thinking that he would then get in trouble for having the gun, but surely he can just explain to somebody, be like, hey, look, I have a gun. I'm giving it to you. It's not mine. Eddie gave it to me. It's his. I don't know. He gave me this bag, told me to hang on to it, so I've been hanging on to it, and I just looked inside it. There's a gun. There's no way that this kid would ever get in trouble for that.
I planned to tell Zach where I stashed it. A few hours later,
what?
School was almost over. Once I left, I'd be home free.
Yo, this guy's an idiot. He's gonna tell the kid where he put he's giving the gun back. He's gonna give the gun. Oh, God, I mean, that is just so dumb. That is just so dumb. That's insane.
School had other plans. Suddenly, someone got on the intercom and said the school was in lockdown. I started freaking out all over again. I couldn't tell anyone. I couldn't let anyone know. I had to keep quiet and follow instructions. The teacher locked the door, turned out the lights, then directed us all under our desks. We hid there, as many kids whispered and wondered if our school was next in the string of recent shootings. Meanwhile, I was silently terrified that someone had found the bag and was using the gun inside the school. As we began to hear screaming in the halls, the mood shifted. We all still hoped it was just some stupid kids playing a crude joke, but it seemed like blood was really being spilled out there. Then, after almost an hour, the lockdown was lifted. Despite how grim things seemed, nothing bad had actually happened. I left the class with everyone a few minutes later. Then I started making my way to the buses. And yet, just before I was able to step onto the bus, 2 police officers stopped me and told me to come with them.
See,
They
now
led me
he's
to
gonna
the
get in
principal's
trouble.
office, where a dozen other cops and school administrators were waiting for me. Just my luck, someone had found the bag, and I was right there on camera, stashing it. I flipped on Zach instantly, not caring about him at all, just wanting him to take the blame for the he dragged me into. Of course, even though Zach got arrested for bringing the gun, I couldn't avoid getting taken into custody either. I'm in nearly as much trouble as him for knowing about it and not reporting it. All this time, I was friends with Zach as a safety measure, just for him to ruin my life. This
So that's it? He actually got? There's no way. That's insane.
lockdown story was inspired by an incident involving 2 students who have been charged following a weapons call that forced the lockdown of 3 Port Colborne, Ontario schools. Niagara police say Port Colborne High, Still Street, and McKay Public were placed into hold and secure protocol amid reports of a student with a firearm. Investigators say a gun wasn't located inside Port Colborne High, near Still High, and Elkin Street after a thorough search with the K-9 unit. However, one would be seized at a location outside the learning facility. There were no injuries in the incident, and students were sent home early. The 2 students are facing charges connected with possessing a firearm. One of the teens has an additional charge for careless use of a firearm.
Yeah, that's totally absurd. The kids should have just given the gun to a teacher or something and the issue would have been resolved. But this has been very chilling. This has been enthralling. This has been creepy. This has been weird. This has been so many different things. But if it's something that you guys enjoyed, and if it's something that you guys want me to do more of and react to more of, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment down below, and click on this video right here for more.